Thank you. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Um, Lara is the CEO. Her and her husband have been operating. I don't want to even. I'll be guessing, so I'm not even going to say how long. So I'll let Lara fill in all the detail on how long and all of that. But anyway, she's been busy since I've known her over the last probably 4 or 5 years, and doing well. And if you have, I am going to have one ground rule here. If we do have any questions of her, I'm going to ask that you put those on the chat screen. I already sent out a note on that as well. So if you wouldn't mind, just put your questions on the chat screen. I'll try to keep monitoring those, and we'll break in on Lara that way as time allows. So with that, Lara, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Do you need me to? You bet. Do you need me to share the screen with you for slides or not so much?
Yes, I do actually have slides. I probably won't be able to go through all of them, but it will be useful to go through a few, I think, for everybody in the group, because there's benefits for all of you guys to see this. And, I doubt that we'll have time to go through all of it, but you can always connect with me and I can share a link to it. So if you want to have more info on it, you certainly can. So I think I can, let me just try.
You should be able to now. Yeah, I enabled that. So.
Okay. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. It's been a pleasure to be welcomed by Mark here today, and thank you, Mark, for inviting me. It's always lovely to see you. And I will just give you a brief introduction. So, as Mark said, my name is Lara Jones, and I'm the CEO and founder of Be a Legend. Actually started the company quite a few years ago now, about 4 years ago, and we've just been growing pretty rapidly across the US. So we are based here in Arizona. We were based in Phoenix, then Scottsdale. So we're kind of all over the valley in Arizona. But we have clients in various different states, so from the East Coast through to the West Coast. And I have built up a fantastic team. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of my whole team and the work that they carry out. And, we live by our name to help companies become legends in their industry. Mark and I actually met quite a few years ago through, I can't even remember, Mark, actually. I think it was a networking group originally, and then we just progressed from there, and Mark introduced me to his contacts and vice versa, and we stayed in touch. And it's a pleasure to be invited here today. So it's been enjoyable listening to all of your backgrounds and stories. Thank you for sharing that. And like I said, it would be wonderful to connect with all of you. So do reach out, and I can share my contact info with you at the end. So without further ado, Mark invited me here today to talk with you all about digital marketing in 2021 and beyond. Now, as you all know, the last, more than 12 months, really. It's probably more like 15 months or so now. It's been a very strange time, and mostly for a lot of companies that were public facing and had to be shut down, and so forth. And how did they cope through that? But more so with your roles as well as CFOs. It's not just beneficial for you to understand how to market yourselves and your business, but actually this is a skill set that if you have somebody in your wheelhouse, so say for example us, like with Mark, and you come across a client that you're working for, and actually you can spot that they are struggling in a certain area like marketing and sales, then you can actually introduce businesses or a partner that you feel really could understand how to get them out of that bind and maybe progress forward. Or perhaps they're not in a bind, but perhaps they are struggling and don't know how to grow within the marketing world, and they really need experts, but they can't afford to have a whole marketing team. That's where we come in as a marketing agency. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about digital marketing and some of the core competencies that I still, were around before the pandemic and are still here, and are actually even more important than ever right now, because everybody's gone digital. I mean, look at us today. We're here on Zoom, and this has been the way of the world for the past year, and I don't think it's going away, even though you will have in-person network meetings again. It's certainly not going away. I think there's more people working from home now, more teams working from home. I know my team all work remotely from home, and they've done a fantastic job, and we just have our weekly Zoom meetings, and it works very well. So, okay. I'm going to show you, this is actually a quote that I always say to clients, and I wanted to share it with you. But the problem with many companies is they take a buckshot approach instead of a bullet approach to sales and marketing, and may rely on one source only to achieve new sales and business. If this is shut down for any reason, perhaps in-person networking because of the pandemic, your sales will slow, or worse, it could halt, and your business stops growing, which leaves room for your competitors to hunt you and eradicate your business. Before the pandemic, I've actually always said this. I said that if you are only in one particular avenue for your marketing and sales, that's very dangerous. So if you're not online and you're not marketing yourself online, you're not going to be heard. And in fact, your competitors are just going to come along and hunt you down, and you'll be eradicated before long. I'm not trying to say this to scare you, but this is actually very relevant for your clients too. So let's look at hiding versus accelerating. Oftentimes, especially if a company has perhaps struggled, or again, because of this very strange year that we've just had, they don't know whether to hoard the cash or accelerate, or spend it, or just go into hiding. Well, which one will you choose? What do you believe is right during the uncertain times? Like I said, do you hoard it, or do you, reduce expenses? What do you do? Well, actually, the answer is, and it doesn't change from previous, before the pandemic, but you want to invest in the areas that are going to provide you more business. I've always said, if you're spending money and it's not getting you a return, well, that's just an expense. You have to invest it wisely and make sure you are getting a return, and then reinvest the money that you're making, and so on and so on. And before long, you will grow your business. Maintaining a strong presence at this time is extremely crucial. The companies who actually cut their expenses in areas that are crucial, such as marketing and sales, are the ones that will suffer long term. We've actually seen it. People have cut marketing, cut sales budgets, and I can never understand that, because why would you cut the most essential channels that are bringing you business? They are usually the most expensive channels, but they are also the ones that bring you the most revenue. So really, they're not an expense. They may be to begin with until it gets going and it kicks in, but certainly that is not the reason to actually cut that, especially during crazy times like what we've just seen. So businesses are becoming more reliant than ever on their digital marketing. It is a huge deciding factor whether they're going to make it through any uncertain times. And I know I keep talking about uncertain times over this past year, but even moving forward, I mean, will the world go back to the way that we used to work? Probably not. I think that, many companies have had successes based on their strategies now and what they're implementing, and the ones that were scared and sort of cut back, I think you'll start seeing them fall away unless they start kicking in quickly. So if you look here, live events have gone away, conferences have gone away. You've got in-person networking has gone away, trade shows have gone away, face-to-face business. Although some of that's starting to come back, trade shows are starting to come back, still it's changed people's mentality of how they want to pursue business and network. So this is what the accelerators are doing versus people that are hiding. So your competitors are going to take advantage of this time to accelerate their business, leave you in the dust. Your competitors are providing reassurance and showing stability to their clients and customers and potential new clients and customers to demonstrate that they are a strong, stable company who are here to stay no matter the circumstances. I will say this, people do look for leadership, consistency and stability, especially in times of crisis. So you want to be that leader that they can rely on. So whether that's the company that you're hired to work at, or perhaps it's a client that you can see, hey, they could really excel in a specific niche, but you have to make sure that they become the leaders and they are not going to fall away and let their competitors eat them up. So they've got to, at this moment, accelerate and invest in the areas like marketing and sales that are going to be very fruitful for them. So you want to be that company that they know is going to stay in business long after the crisis is over, because the perception when clients and customers and even the general public, they're going to look for the companies that made it through this time, because they know if they can survive this, they'll survive anything. So when businesses start to see their profits decline, perhaps as a result of a crisis, perhaps, once the crisis is over, they still see a decline, maybe because they weren't invested in their marketing and sales in the correct channels. They tend to look for places that they can save money. And for many businesses, as I mentioned, marketing is one of the first things to go. This is a decision you can expect many of your competitors to make, and it is the wrong decision. Eradicating digital marketing may greatly impact their future success, but not in a positive way, and I will explain that. They'll be lost in the noise, and they will go out of business. We've seen it already happen. They have no way of standing out among their competitors, and 80% of people look online for services and products, and that is huge. So even for this group today, many people are looking online for services as yours, but the companies that you work for and that you're hired by, people are looking for their services online as well. So usually I say, especially during uncertain times, you want to look at a reallocation of budget. So reallocate some of the money that maybe companies would normally spend on areas that have declined, perhaps due to quarantine, such as travel, office utilities, and invest that into crucial areas such as marketing. The online world is a vital one right now. In fact, it has been for years, and that's never changed. The digital world does greatly affect our physical world. It's what businesses need to thrive at this point, and it's extremely important that you don't allow your efforts to slip. How you handle your social media presence during this time is just as important as the money you're putting into marketing. People want to hear your voice. They want to, again, see leadership. They want to know who are the companies that are thriving right now, who are the people that are making a difference. Many businesses are communicating with their customers via email or social media with empathy and thoughtfulness, and you'll notice that they're making a positive impression. Be in tune with your clients, be in tune with what they're experiencing currently. And if I asked you what recent email in your inbox has spoken to you, what would that be? So just ponder that, because I may come and ask you a little bit later on, but just ask yourself, what recent email in your inbox has actually spoken to you? What companies have effectively communicated that they care? We live in a world now where it's very cutthroat, and people trying to hunt each other down and become those leaders and eat those companies up and move on. But the companies that actually show empathy and show that they are listening to their clients are the ones that would actually excel, because it's not about them, it's about their clients. You build customer loyalty by showing your customers you're equally loyal to them. So I'm going to ask you a question here, and feel free to interrupt. I can't actually see your pictures right now because I've got my screen in front. But what are the most essential items that come to mind when you think about marketing your business? Just anybody, just shout out what you think are the most essential items that come to mind. Don't be shy.
Advertising.
But what type of advertising?
Okay, so let's think about this. So, I'm thinking from the expense side. So they're looking at trade shows and conferences, right? So having representation at trade shows and conferences.
Okay, but if trade shows and conferences right now are just purely online, do you feel like it's still the most essential way to market your business?
No, absolutely not. So then we shift over to digital. Right. So
okay.
You can host virtual conferences or a campaign on the internet. Product launches or advertisements via electronic media.
But how do we get those conferences out there in terms of how do we advertise those conferences? If you're trying to find certain target market to be attracted to these networking events or conferences or trade shows or whatever else it may be, how do we get them to notice you?
So then you're looking at social media.
Now, this is interesting because, and thank you ever so much for answering that. I do appreciate it. This is what many people say to me is social media, social media, social media. Well, let me tell you this, that yes, social media is important, but I will tell you this, the most important aspect of any type of advertising is actually, number one, what people say about you. What people say about you is the most critical thing you could ever be protective about. And why? Because that can make or break you. It only takes one conversation to destroy your reputation. It would take around 10 conversations or 10 reviews, if you like, or experiences that people have had in a positive way to help build you back up again. So that is a very crucial point I want you to think about. So really think about what people say about you. How are you getting that out there? Listen to what people are saying, whether it's good and bad. You want to listen to the bad as well, because you want to use that to help your business and rectify those areas. Listen to the good, promote the good. Now, the other area, which is absolutely critical, is how potential customers can find you if they don't know about you. And even if they do know about you, presence is everything. So what do I mean by that? And I've actually put the quote up again because I like to reiterate this. I'm going to tell you the problem with many companies, they take a buckshot approach instead of a bullet approach, or you can call it a shotgun and a rifle approach to sales and marketing. They may rely on one source only to achieve new sales of business. If this is shut down for any reason, your sales is going to slow or worse, halt, and your business stops growing, leaving room for your competitors to hunt you and eradicate your business. I know I've already told you that quote, but I'm going to repeat it because I just want you to really think about that. You've got to understand who your target audience are. And even though, and I hear today about how, the networking is starting to pick up again and you're able to network with each other and other groups, but really, if you're only relying on that, it can be a dangerous path. And that's why you've really got to investigate what are the other areas, and for your companies, because it gives you credibility. If you have this knowledge that I'm sharing with you today, and you say, hey, I have a marketing partner that I can bring on board, it gives you more gravitas to your clients that you know what you're talking about, even though you may not be experienced in the marketing world. You don't have to be. I'm not an experienced, I'm not educated in the same sense that you all are in your industry. So I would hire that. Whereas, that's what we say to clients. But it's all about building up your network and introducing that to the client. But how does the client and even you, what are the ways for your customers to find you, and also your clients' customers to find them? Well, there's 3 fundamental ways. I'll share that with you right now. So to market effectively, number 1 is reputation. That's what I just mentioned, what people say about you. It's absolutely critical. Number 2, search engines online. So people looking for your services, and I will elaborate. It's going to bullet point right now. And then number 3 is paid ads, which is what we call interruption marketing. So looking at these a little more closely. So your reputation online. It doesn't matter how great your website looks or how great you think your service is. What matters is what people say about you. It matters what others' opinion is of your company, as that is what potential customers will listen to. Real life experience with your company. Number 2 is search engines. I mentioned before, but 80% of people that use search engines, 80% of people use search engines to find a local service. Out of that 80%, 70% use what's called the GMB, which is the Google My Business Map Pack, to find a local company to use for the services they are interested in. I'll share what I mean by that in a moment. If your company is not found in the top 3 or even the first page of the Google My Business listings, the chances of a potential customer calling is significantly reduced. Your company becomes noise compared to your competitors who are investing in online marketing the right way through organic growth. Now, the third way is paid ads, such as Google ads. And you may have heard of Google ads, and there's lots of other different paid ads online as well through social media. But Google ads or paid ads, you can run Google ads and be found at the top of the page. You probably have, if you've searched for a service, doesn't matter whether it's in your area or it's national, you'll probably see ads at the top of the page. Then you see a map with some businesses, and then you see websites. Well, those top ads, that you see that come up first, those are paid ads. The map underneath is the GMB, which is, you can do search engine optimization specifically for the Google My Business listings. Then underneath that, you've got websites. And you can run SEO, search engine optimization, for your actual website. So there's three different things that are going on here. Where your reputation is going to show up is in the GMB. And that is very crucial. If you've got 3 stars and say your client has got, or your competitor has got 4 or 5 stars, then it doesn't matter how much SEO we may do or carry out. If your reputation is not as great as your competitors, you're unlikely to get that call. That's why they go hand in hand. And I've always said that reputation and SEO should be a package together, which is what, we only carry that out if we can manage the reputation as well. Now, if they've got a great reputation, you also want to protect that. So sometimes we do one-time campaigns, sometimes we can do ongoing campaigns, but it's extremely important that they do go hand in hand. Now, the previous slide that I just showed you shows you that the type of customers that are already in the market for your services. So these are people that are actively looking for your services, and they say, okay, I need services in this area, whether it's for financial services, maybe your client, and this is something you can educate your client with, but maybe their customers are looking for your client services, and they'll just type into Google, and they'll be found either through paid ads if they're running them, SEO if they've got a company marketing agency like us providing SEO, and also being found with their reviews. And so they know that they need services you offer, and they're actively looking for your type of services. This is organic search, paid search results. They need to show your company name to them. So in other words, when people are looking for your services and they find you, whether it's paid or organic, your company name is attached to that, and they can find you in it and they understand what you do. And also the number of positive reviews, that's essential as well. So let me just show you an example before I move on to what I call interruption marketing. So if I asked you here, which company would you click on? If you see the 3 here, just anybody shout out, which company would you click on out of the 3 here?
Ironwood.
Right, and why is that?
You've got almost a perfect 5-star rating. You got a 4.9. So that's and it's got a lot of reviews. It says it's got 32 reviews.
And if
4 point.
Absolutely.
It's also first.
Right.
It's just first, and oftentimes, I always assume everyone's in a hurry. So what's your first inclination?
Yeah, plus it's in all caps too, so it stands out a little.
Say that again, sorry.
It's in all capital letters, so it stands out a little more.
Yep, absolutely. So it's interesting, and obviously, I know your eye is automatically drawn here. Also, not just because of the 4.9 and like Mark said, the 32 reviews, but just as Robert said with the capitals here. Now, if this Ironwood Roofing was at the bottom here and it was 3rd, and say Five Guys Roofing was here, 3 stars, Glendale Roofing was at 1 star here, would you still go with the Ironwood?
I would. Yeah,
Yep.
I rely pretty heavily on those ratings.
Right. So, and that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter whether you're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If your reviews are not as good as your competitors, then I personally would rather go with number 6 if they had, if Ironwood was number 6, I would rather do that than I would go with any of the others. Now, what if Five Guys Roofing was at 4.9, still had 2 reviews, but it was at 4.9, same as Ironwood? which one out of those two would you go for if they were both 4.9?
I go for the one with the more reviews.
Right, exactly. And this is my point, and this might seem really simple to you guys, you know, when you're looking at this, but this is, a lot of people don't actually, when I ask them this, they're not thinking like that when they're looking to advertise. And so that's why it's so crucial that you get as many reviews as you possibly can, and you want to protect your star rating too. So something that we do as an agency, you know, with reputation management is, you know, we can help companies get out there to get the positive reviews from their clients, but also help when it's negative reviews to send privately to you. I mean, they still have an option to post it publicly if they want, but through our platform, they actually fill out the online platform that we have, and it just helps, you know, it helps you because you understand, okay, with the negative, that's not necessarily going to go public because they filled it out on our platform. So you will get to see that, versus the positive that we, you know, obviously you want to encourage that to be pushed out there. But the point being is, this is so crucial. And if there's no reputation management in place, that's something you might want to consider, especially for your clients too. And again, this is really great for you to sell to your client, to show your expertise. And clearly my light agrees with me. It just magically appeared on. So it's saying, yeah, hey, there's a light bulb just switched on, and it's saying, listen, your reputation is very, very key. So now, when you click on more businesses on the GMB, this is what comes up. So what you just saw were the three top in the map pack. Now you can click on more businesses, and then you see all of these on the side. Now you'll see this is an ad, but they are above Ironwood, but it does come up as an ad. Okay, this is a paid ad. This is all organic growth all here. So again, you can see you've got Ironwood, Five Guys, Glendale. And then, I mean, this one has no reviews, and then you've got 5 stars here, but they've only got 1 review. But this still looks better, this 5-star over the 3 stars and the 1 star, even though these guys are ranked higher. So you can see why I'm emphasizing that reputation is extremely crucial. You know, when there are 15 pages of roofing companies for the search term, roofing companies North Scottsdale, 15 that come up for those particular keywords. So for a wider location such as Phoenix, there's going to be many more pages, because I just, you know, honed in on North Scottsdale, but if you do type in Phoenix, there's going to be a vast amount more. So you've got to differentiate yourselves and stand out. Each page has around, so each page here, like you see, has around 20 companies. And this was just a screenshot, so you can't actually see the ones that go below that. So therefore, if you're on page 2 or worse, page 3 onwards, your company's not going to be noticed by the potential customer. So hence why, and this all falls under search engine optimization, which was the number 2 on that list that I mentioned. You got reputation, then SEO, and then paid ads. So over the years, we've seen evidence time and time again that SEO is a long-term marketing strategy, and the effort that you put in now does come back in spades over the following years. You know, the common advice is to invest in the stock market when the market is down is absolutely applicable to digital marketing. In fact, there's never a bad time to invest in digital marketing. You want to be on top of it, because if you're not, then guess what? All of your competitors are, and that gap between you and the competitor, and again with your clients, it just gets further and further and further away, and then you've got to do even more to catch that up. So you've got to set yourself up for future success by continuing to build your online presence through any downturn, any crisis. Extremely important. And even when that goes away, you want to really be focusing and make sure that you stand out and show that you were there for your clients during that time as well, because they will remember. Paid ads. So this was the third segment that I talked about. A good amount of your competition probably may have bowed out at this point. People may have pivoted, they may have decided to change their career, they may have decided to throw the towel in because, you know, they ran out of cash, perhaps they weren't cash flowing too well, and so, you know, one major hit like the pandemic has just completely, you know, killed them off. Now I know it's your jobs as within your role to help them and manage that cash flow and make sure that the businesses run successfully and financially well. So if I could really focus on anything that's going to be more important than anything else is the digital marketing, because without that, you're just not going to get heard, and your clients will not get heard. You have the opportunity to look for ways to use PPC right now to grow your brand awareness. If people fall out from the paid ads, so they're not spending as much on paid ads, maybe because their cash flow didn't allow them, reallocate some of your clients' budget to invest back into paid ads. And why? Because if other companies or their competitors have fallen out, well, then there's more, you've got more to go after now. You can start really branding your clients to take that market share, and likewise with yourselves as well, within your industry. So depending on the industry and the competition, you may find that what we call keyword bids have decreased. So keywords being, like in the previous example, saying roofing companies North Scottsdale, well, it could be CFOs North Phoenix. I'm just throwing something out here for food for thought. The keyword bids may have decreased on that if certain people have stopped advertising for that because maybe cash flow didn't allow for it, or maybe they didn't reallocate their budget in the correct way. But now more than ever, it is crucial, and it's up to your ad spend to compete among the best and swim above your competition. So what are paid ads? Well, you've got two different types: Google ads and social media ads. Now, Robert, you mentioned earlier about social media, and that's the one way that you wanted to get out. Well, that's actually a small way to get out, and I mean, it is a good way if it's done correctly, but it's not about just putting a post on social media and just what we call boosting it. It doesn't do anything. You want to make sure you're really targeted on your target audience, and that's where social media ads play. Now, social media ads is very different from just boosting a post or just putting something online on social media, and I will explain that. Google ads is where your ad is displayed when people search online for the products and services you offer. So they would actually have to know what they're searching for that ad to come up. The Google ads help get your ads in front of potential customers at just the moment they're ready to take action. You can select the geographic area where your ad should be shown, and it can be a small radius around your business or much broader, like cities, states, or entire countries. It can appear whenever users in your target area search for a product or service like yours. You only pay when users agree with your ad, engage with your ad, like clicking your ad or calling your business. So you don't pay for your ad to be shown unless you're doing what's called retargeting, and then it's done by impressions. However, with Google ads, it's only when someone clicks on that ad does it then cost you, and that cost per click can alter and change depending on the market in that moment and how many people are going after that keyword. That's why you need to have a company that actually understands this and do this day in, day out, because it gets very complicated, and you can spend a lot of money and not get a lot of results if you don't have a marketing partner that knows what they're talking about. So the three most common Google ad campaigns are search campaigns. That's usually in text form. That's where it just shows up at the top of the page. You've got display ads. They're going to appear on websites or apps that your customers visit. And then you've got video campaigns. They can be up to 15-second videos, and they can be shown right before, during YouTube content. Social media ads. That was the other one I mentioned with paid ads. Now, they work best when defining your target audience and gathering data for who that defined audience is. Now, this is where interruption marketing could come in. You could be targeting a specific group of people that probably need your services, but maybe they don't know about you yet, or maybe they haven't heard of you. So that's where you can get very focused and say, okay, what's the demographic of my target audience? Who are they? And you can also run what's called split tests to establish which ad resonates more strongly with your audience. We are very hot on that because it does give you an idea of, okay, this audience resonated stronger with this ad not so much. Let's drop that ad. Let's focus on this ad. Now let's split that again and look at even a more focused audience. You can pull a huge amount of data on potential clients to copy this audience and create what we call a lookalike audience to run future campaigns to. Again, that helps identify the targets long term. So if you've got a set clientele that are going to be interested in your services, you can target them using social media ads. And then once you've started to get engaged in an audience there, you can copy that or do what's called a lookalike audience of people that may be interested in your services, but maybe haven't ever found you per se, but you want to be able to advertise to people that may be similar to that, well, you can do that. You can create that lookalike audience because everything is digital, and we get the footprint of who's actually searching for these services, or who may be interested in your services based on their interests and likes and so forth. It's cost efficient for ad spend versus other paid ads. And it builds brand awareness to the right audience rather than just doing a shotgun approach where you're just going to go to everywhere and everyone, and it's not very targeted. And I often say, that's good for building a brand, but also good if you're trying to actually get leads from that. It does improve brand recognition as well on social media, because it takes typically about 7 or 8 times for someone to see an ad for it to resonate with them, to remember your name. And it is an improved conversion rate versus the shotgun approach, i.e. print ads. You can also track it, and that's what I love about digital marketing. We know exactly how many people have clicked on ads. We can track that. We can even put a different phone number associated with that. So if they call on the website versus calling from a Google ad, we will know the difference. Reduce marketing costs. Definitely reduce your marketing costs by having a targeted audience, and better search engine ranking. It helps. Social media ads actually help as social signals to Google. So all in all, typically when we run campaigns for clients, we look at reputation, SEO, which is search engine optimization, and paid ads, whether that's Google ads, social media ads, either or combined together. Because all three together just work very well. You want to build your reputation, build your reviews. Secondly, you want to build organically with search engine optimization. And thirdly, you want to be doing paid ads or social media ads to help build brand recognition and to get leads off the bat straight away, but while your SEO is being integrated and growing. Because that does take time, whereas paid ads is instant. And eventually you could fall off on the paid ads and maybe still have social media ads for brand recognition, but you could do away with paid ads at some point once your SEO is kicked in and you're starting to rank at the top of the page. Now, there are other types of online marketing, such as, what I mentioned with interruption marketing. You've got Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads, which all fall under the social media ads. But also geofencing. Not a lot of people know about geofencing. And I won't go into too much because I'm conscious of time. And obviously, if you do want to know more about that, do reach out to me. But just in brief, geofencing is where it uses GPS signals to determine when a target customer enters a boundary. Now, it's not really so essential for well, it could be essential for you guys, because you could say, you know what, I want to target customers around a certain industry, and therefore anyone that crosses over this particular boundary, or maybe you're trying to get a specific company, so anyone that goes in there, they're going to get a signal on their iPhone, and with the geofencing, that's going to get a signal that they've crossed into that boundary, and therefore they are then going to get an ad displayed on their phone when they're in certain apps. Now, you might think that's a little intrusive. It's not really. A lot of people actually do that, but it's only going to be relevant. It's only going to show it if it's relevant because they crossed into that boundary. You can how do I explain this? So OTT platforms such as Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, film and television content is provided by a high-speed internet connection rather than a cable or satellite provider. So I won't go into that too much right now. Like I said, that's quite a lot involved, and you can always reach out to me to learn more about that. Can you guys still hear me okay? By the way, I just want to double check that we're all still here. Okay. Okay, excellent. Now, other types of online marketing to your already existing customer base are email campaigns, social media posts. Now, remember, that's different from social media ads. Blog posts, having loyalty programs via your website or online, continuing to manage your reputation and marketing that reputation online, consistent follow-up, and making customers and clients feel special through rewards, highlighting special dates, i.e. birthdays, and so forth. All of this is going to make you stand out more than what your competitors are doing, who may, they may not necessarily be struggling, but maybe they're not investing in the right areas. And therefore, all of this, what I've said here, complements the most critical aspects of digital marketing. Well, what does all of this marketing tell you? Well, there are numerous ways to market your company online to cater for the 80% of customers who search for services and products online. There isn't a one size fits all. Each business is unique, but the overview of marketing online is the same. Reputation, SEO, PPC, which is the paid ads. It's called pay-per-click. That's what it stands for. All the other types of marketing you can easily do. You can hire companies like ourselves to help you with that. But there's so many different types of marketing. You really need to have a company or someone that understands what's going to be most beneficial for your business. And that's something that I'm very experienced in from all my past years. I've been doing marketing and sales for, gosh, about 16 or 17 years now. And I've seen all different types of marketing be successful, and I've seen marketing that's not so successful, depending on what industry you're in, depending whether you're B2C, whether you're B2B. I've done it all, and I understand it very, very well. So I do like to consult with our clients first of all, rather than have them tell me what they think they need. I actually want to understand why they think they need certain types of marketing, what it means to them, and then I want to learn their business and understand what they're trying to achieve. Once I've done that, I can then start to establish a marketing plan and a marketing strategy. And that's where yourselves with your clients can really have some gravitas against your competitors, because if you know how to help them in more ways than one, even if you're not going to be doing it yourselves, you bring a marketing partner in like ourselves in with your clients, it's going to make you look far, you're going to stand out, let's put it that way. You're going to be far more unique than others that are in your industry. They're going to trust you more, and they're going to want to rely on you, and they're going to fall back on you and trust you to help with certain areas of their business. So how do you know where to start? Well, it's easy. You can refer back to the original slide discussing what the most essential marketing practices are before you do anything else. Reputation online, and how do customers find your services online if they've never heard of your company before? It can seem daunting, but if you are not marketing your company online and you have a clear strategy, you will fall behind your competitors. So if you may have a clear vision, but again, if you're not online and you're not doing anything with that, it doesn't really matter, because you're just not going to be seen or heard. Why are you marketing in that way? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself how you're marketing right now. Who are you targeting right now with your marketing? Even if you're in network groups, who are you targeting? What results are you seeing from the different avenues of marketing? And what are your competitors doing to market themselves? Just ask yourself that, and make a note of those questions, and continually ask yourself that to make sure you're staying on track. Now, Mark, how are we doing on time? Because I'm conscious I've got quite a lot to go through, but I can obviously pause at any moment. Are we okay on time?
Yeah, we're going to need to wrap up here, Lara. Okay. So if you could maybe summarize in the next couple minutes, and then if I'm looking right now, I don't see any specific questions, although I think there is some interest in how we get in touch with you. Okay, no problem. Let me wrap up. I just wanted to very briefly explain about shotgun versus rifle. I mentioned earlier, it's no good doing a shotgun approach, because if you're doing a wide audience targeting, you're not targeting your marketing. That could be a lot of wasted dollars, and that's especially essential for your clients to understand that. And that's where as CFOs, you need to understand that, because you're going to be managing all financial aspects of their business, and therefore doing a shotgun approach may be good for brand awareness, but if they are very specific and want to get leads and ROI, that is not the way to go. You have to look at rifle, and that's a very specific targeting, direct communication to consumers, rather than using mass media. And this is just some examples of shotgun versus rifle. Rifle is what I've been talking to you about, having a clearly defined audience, focus or concentrated targeting, SEO and paid ads. The shotgun is print ads, TV commercials, flyers, and so forth. All right, let me wrap up. I do have a number of other slides here, but I'm just gonna skip right through here. Also, you want to define your target market. I didn't cover that slide, but there is a slide talking about how we define the target market. Typically, this presentation takes about an hour, so I'm more than happy to connect with any of you. And this is, by the way, you could take a screenshot of this, but determining your ideal target market, you want to look at demographic, geographic, and psychographic. So if you take a screenshot, I'll just give you a few seconds to do that.
or take a picture on your iPhone. Okay, so understanding how your ideal customer thinks is going to help you understand what their pain point is, thus revealing their need. So to sum it up, you will discover in the first few minutes of talking to a potential prospect whether they're going to be the right fit or not by understanding how your ideal customer thinks. And as a result, your team are going to bring on better customers and clients with less hassles and more profit. So that is essential for you to understand and also your clients. It's going to allow you more time to focus on the right target market and the customer. So you can drop some customers that you feel don't fit and not in your wheelhouse anymore, and you can focus more in, because I heard one of you mentioned earlier, I think it was the lady that we have, Karen. I think Karen mentioned earlier that she was trying to get away from, you know, certain avenues of her business and focus on different avenues. Well, you can start to drop those existing customers as you see fit, once you identify who your target market really is. And then you don't have any unreasonable demands, you don't have unrealistic expectations, and you're not going to have low profitability. This is why doing marketing the right way is so incredibly essential. And just remember, I'm going to reiterate this again. It's a good way to end. But the problem with many companies is they take a buckshot approach instead of a bullet approach. Just remember that. And you want to look at rifle marketing versus the shotgun approach. So if you'd like to get in touch, I can give you my email as my personal email as well, but you can reach out to us at helpme@bealegendinc.com. And the phone number, our office phone, is 480-470-0350. Now, you can reach out to me as well individually if you would like, and it's just my first name at bealegendinc.com. So it's just Lara, Lara, at bealegendinc.com. So you can register your interest with our company. You can reach out to me if you would like to know any more information of anything I haven't covered today, or just go over some of the things I have covered, and let's just learn a little bit more about digital marketing, if it will help you get more clients, with not necessarily just investing yourselves in this, but I'm thinking helping your clients invest in this as well and helping them get clients. And that means long-term relationship for you as well with your customers. So, all right, well, I think that pretty much about sums everything up from today with what I wanted to share with you. Do we have any questions and comments, Mark?
I do not see any specific questions beyond, as I mentioned, just the general idea of probably wanting to go deeper into some of the specifics here with you, Lara, but certainly very interesting, you know, very current stuff here for a lot of business owners and those trying to help businesses grow right now. I think that's critical. For anyone on the call today, just to let you know, we have recorded the presentation, and Charlotte will make that available for us in a few days, and I'll be getting an email from her that I'll be able to share with you at that time. And then we'll meet again in May. The first Tuesday of May is May 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll be sending some information out on that a little bit later. So looks like we got some good feedback as well, Lara, and thank you so much for all your time. Those slides are terrific. There's a lot of data there to go through. And I would encourage anyone, if you've got any questions in this area, you know, Lara is just a great resource to learn a lot more about this this whole industry, if you will.